Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. But I am happy. Do you still remember this brother of ours who was saying that he was told that he must have an accident, but he's going to survive? The message that he sent to me, he said, "Hey brother, how are you? I want to thank all fellow South Africans for the kind messages and for not judging me, and also for understanding. I have decided that I am not going to go ahead with the ritual. It is far much better for me to keep on earning the small amount that I am earning. What I need right now is another advice. If there is anyone who is a doctor, even someone who can just give me some remedies. The biggest challenge that I am facing now is that when I wake up, because of high blood pressure, when I wake up, sometimes I feel dizzy. I once fell down after I had woken up and I was feeling too much dizzy. I tried to push myself to start preparing so that I can go and pick up the mine workers, but I fell down. It is because of the stress that I have, even though I have all these vehicles that we are using to transport the workers. But if anything wrong happens, then I will lose even the vehicles. I do not have even surplus money to fix these vehicles. So it is money coming in and money going out. That is the only challenge that I am facing. But I have decided not to cause that accident, as I was told that the man that will be in my car that I will be driving, one amongst those mine workers is going to die, but I will survive that accident. Then I'll start making a lot of money. Thank you. I appreciate all the kind words that I read on my confession. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother, if you still remember him, who was saying that he wants to have big contracts, but he was told that in order for that to happen, he must first have an accident, and he's going to survive that accident, and the people that will be in his car, one is going to die, and he will use that blood to become much more rich. Then there is another message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. The message, it reads like this: Brother Nashim, please hide my identity. I'm writing this. I am unemployed as I'm speaking with you. The life that I'm living, it is very difficult, and I'm just trying. I have a problem of shaky hands because of the stress that I do have. Even the phone that I'm using, it is a cracked up phone. Sometimes you can't even swipe it properly. My mom, she used to be a successful street vendor in Joburg, but it was not all about hustling and grinding, but it is because of what my mother was using whenever we would be making these fat cooks. My mom unknowingly was using water that had been used to wash dead people, dead Muslims. I will change the years because I'm scared that it might be linked back to me. There is this Malawian man who destroyed our lives, who destroyed my mother. I even told my mom not to fight against this Malawian man since he was a powerful Sangoma. He's still here in Joburg. Back in 2022, as I have told you, that I will change the years when it happened. My mom and I, we were living in a small cramped up yard in Yorville. This was after my mother, many years before that, had been kicked out by her husband, who was my stepdad. Since they did not have kids, then his own sons, they came from Venda, and they said that the house belonged to their mother. It was a lot of noise that was happening. My mother then decided that since she had already been fighting with him, my stepdad, so there was no peace, and my mother was always being insulted by my stepdad, including the sons that had came from Venda. So we then chose to just walk away. We tried to return back to KZN, but the problem was that my mom, she came to Joburg when she was around 13, and she would rarely go back to KZN, and it was very difficult trying to relocate. My mother, since all that she knew was hustling in Joburg, my mother and we then started to sell in Yeoville, and we were making the fat cooks. We were struggling. I would even think about my father, who had passed away so many years ago. My dad as well had left my mom with a mountain of debt because of his failed business. My mom said that my dad owed everyone money, and those people, they are loan sharks. They used to come to our house with shambok. So they took by force the RDP that once belonged to my mom. That RDP is still there, but hey, I don't want to get myself in trouble, so I won't say a lot. They said that the money had gotten so much interest, and it was equivalent to that RDP. So to survive, my mother started a small stand selling fat cooks and fried chips as well. We set up near a taxi rank, and where we were operating, I will change the places because I'm even scared. I'll say just around Berea and Hillbrow, places where taxis passes through. For the first few months, we barely made enough to pay the rent for our single room because everything was not working. Like, we were just working to buy cooking oil, flour. Us as business people, you know, when we are running a business, we do not micromanage everything. We just look at the profit at the end of the day. So we were really struggling in this business. We did not even have any money at all. So what surprised us was that there were other women selling the same exact things close to where we were, but they were making money. My mom already, she had a problem with her heart. I think it was because of what happened when my stepfather kicked us out, because she had also renovated that house. She felt like she had also the right to be living there. But since the kids had said that the house was registered in their mother's name, it was a hell lot of business going to the courts and coming back. My mother was exhausted. She had a problem. Her legs will get swollen from standing all day. Her eyes were always red from the smoke. She used to cry at night, and she developed ulcers. It was so painful because she could not eat some of the food, praying for a miracle. And that miracle, it arrived in form of a man named Ismail. He was someone who was also a tenant from Malawi. He rented a shack also in the back of the yard, but he was a sangoma. Ismail, he was someone that was different from other people that were staying there. He did not drink, he did not play loud music, and he always wore clean clothes. And he told us that he was a devout Muslim. He also wanted to date me, but I had told myself that I don't want to date Malawian guys, except if the person is rich. So later on, I learned that he was a Muslim, but he was working at a private funeral parlor, and this was a mortuary that only specialized in Islamic burials around Hillbrow and other places. He was so polite that my mother began to trust him as if he was the future son-in-law, but I did not have any feelings for him. He was also a sangoma. There were a lot of South Africans that used to come, and these South Africans, they would be assisted by him. One evening, after a particular bad day, we did not even sell 20 fat cooks. Ismail sat with us in the kitchen because we used to prepare some of these fat cooks at night, and he would be with us just talking and chatting. And he was like, "Mama," he said, "I see that you are a woman of faith. You go to your church. We go to the seventh day, by the way. Oh, you go to this church. You don't worship on Saturday. But I look at you. This church of yours, it is not helping you. Look at you. You are always making this flour, always frying by the fire. But do you know that in my country, we know that business is not just about Jesus Christ. It is about also something that you must get in the spirit." He said that if you just use water from the tap, sometimes you can make a profit by selling your fat cooks. But if you use special water, you will be someone that will be making money, because tap water is dead. That is exactly what he said. It has no spirit. My mother looked at him and he said, "What water should I use, Ismail? Please tell me." Then he said, at the mortuary where I work, we perform sacred washings. We prepare the brothers for the afterlife. So at our place, I can get you water. When he said that this water, it was someone that he would take from the mortuary, we did not know that this water that he was talking about, it was dirty water that they use at the mortuary to clean bodies. It was as if you will just take water from his workplace and then you would bring it from the tape. The next day, Ismail bought a 25-liter blue plastic container and it had water. The water inside, it looked clear, but we did not even think about it the first time because my mom said this water, it is smelling like it is rotten. Then my mother and I, we then started mixing the flour and then we made the VOETKOOKS that night. When we hit the taxi rank that morning, something unbelievable happened. We usually had to walk around shouting to get customers, but this time around, people would be walking 20 meters from where we were, and then they would come and then they would buy. Construction workers, taxi drivers, they all lined up. They were not just buying. Some of them would buy 3 VOETKOOKS, eat and go back in line. I watched a man eat 6 VOETKOOKS in 5 minutes, and this man was like, what did you put in this, mama? I've never tasted anything that tastes so good. By 10 a.m., we were sold out. My mother was so happy. We had made more money in 4 hours than the amount of money that we used to make in a week. Ismail, later on in the evening, he said that he just wanted a small commission, and my mom gave the small commission. For 3 months, like we were selling like no man's business. We even bought new equipment. My mom, she was so excited. My mother, she loved jewelry. She went and she bought a fake jewelry gold watch from the Nigerians. And we were even thinking of starting a small canteen. So what I started to notice was that my little sister, she was someone that was always sick at all the times. And at night, then my sister, she would wake up screaming. If you would ask her, my sister will tell us that she was seeing people that were dressed in white robes, but they were Muslims. All of these men, it was as if they were dead. She would see herself washing them. Then the next thing, she would see herself frying the VOETKOOKS and then going to sell. And all the people will be lined up in front of her, some of them even killing each other so that they can just get the VOETKOOKS from her. When she told me this, one night I was home alone. My mom, she had gone to visit her friend. Then I had a knock on the door. My brother, when I had a knock on the door, I felt the hair at the back of my neck like getting up, and I felt so strange. I got up, and when I got to the door, I opened it up and I saw that there was a man who was wearing like a Muslim, but I thought that it was Ismail. But Ismail, he was not chubby, he was like a slender. And I greeted that man and he just said, "Ha," and he disappeared. That was the most scariest thing that had ever happened to me. I ran outside and I called my mom. I did not even want to sleep at home. The next day, we did not even go to sell the VOETKOOKS. We kept on seeing all of these unusual encounters that were happening. Even my own mom, she started to have strange dreams. She would even say that when it is cold, one can have these strange dreams, but she was being used, she said, as a tokoloshi there in Malawi. But the results, my brother, we were selling a lot. A lot of people would bypass 10 other vendors just to buy from my mom. It did not even matter if the VOETKOOK was cold or if the oil was old. Once they smelled the VOETKOOKs, they would just buy. It was as if they were like zombies. Construction workers would spend their last cent on those VOETKOOKs. We went from selling 50 a day to over 1,000. We had 2 Zim women that started working for us. They were the ones that now had the task of selling those VOETKOOKs for us. My mother was making a lot of money. We moved from the yard to a better flat. And my mom was even saying that when we raise money, we can buy like a bakim, then we can start to do courier, but not couriering the fat cooks, another business. So whatever that was happening, we just said that it is witchcraft, because my stepdad, he wanted to return back to my mom because he now knew that my mom was making money and we were refusing. One night, the Malawian man, we went to his house. There was something that we wanted and we did not find him. So my mom was like, let us go back. I pushed the door. When I pushed the door, my mom was in another room, and I was curious because I had never gotten inside his room. I went in and I saw that there were a lot of books that had the names of people that he had assisted in his shrine. But what surprised me was that he had written that some of these people, he would give them mortuary water. Some of them, they were using the mortuary water in their car wash. You go to a car wash, and then when you go there, they use mortuary water to wash your vehicle, and you would find out that the car wash, it is always full of cars, and people, they always return back to that same car wash. When I saw that there were clear instructions that were written there, I was so scared because I saw clear instructions with my mother's name written on it, and it said when her people eat food cooked with that water, then she will be making money, but these people, their spirit will be turned into tokoloshis. This was the most scariest part. When I told my mom, my mother screamed at him. We told him that we were going to the police. The man did not even pack his bags. He just grabbed his pouch and ran. We heard later he had fled back to where he was staying in Alex, and he was staying there. So the moment that we decided to go to the police station to report him for making us to poison the public, we did not know that we were using mortuary water. My mother fell to the ground when I had gone out. When I came back, I was like, Mom, you're taking too long. My mother had an epileptic seizure. She fell in the middle of the kitchen. She had a massive stroke. Her mouth was twisted and she could not even speak. We did not know what else to do. We went with her to the hospital. She stayed in the hospital for a very long time. We were assisted by my stepdad. My stepdad then told us that he was going to be hiring a powerful sangoma from Limpopo, but he did not have the money to pay. This man came from Limpopo to perform a cleansing, and we had to pay. We spent all the money that we had in the savings account, and then that powerful sangoma from Limpopo performed a cleansing on our mother, and we were told that indeed the water that we had been using, it was the same water that he had been washing the dead bodies. And now my mom, because she wanted to expose him to the police, then he decided to use some muti on my mom. My mother, because of that, she passed away. Brother Nashi, I'm broke to this very day. I don't have a job. I'm just writing this to warn the people of Joburg. Be careful of what you eat on the streets. It is not everyone who does things the correct way. We did not even know. We thought that we were just hustling, but we were serving people a satanic menu. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by our sister who said, if you find yourself craving a specific street food to the point where you can't pass that stand without buying, pray. If you find yourself walking from your workplace, just going to buy VOETKOOKS somewhere far from the place where you work, then you need to pray. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.